Hello, everyone, and welcome to a new episode of The Things We Do Not Want to Talk About. First of all, we are all the way on episode 5 already. Time is flying. And for all my teachers, yes, we're flying. I can't believe it. It feels like I was just back yesterday, starting all over after my long hiatus, and we're already halfway in the season. So thank you for everyone that's been listening. I don't know if I mentioned it on the last episode, but outside of North America, my top listeners are from, I want to say Russia. And I thought that was like really cool. Like they have like a really high percentage. So that was like pretty lit. Like, thank you, whoever you are that is listening. So that kind of really definitely made me feel good. And thank you. I want to give a big shout out to myself for my vulnerability, and then also shout out to everyone who's been listening and who had reached out to me, giving me feedback. People really loved my last episode. I didn't even plan to do the episode. I did not plan to cry like they were just so heavy on me. So thank you for welcoming me in a space where I could do that. And hopefully something in the last episode resonated with you, and it was something that you could think about and even allow yourself to think about, like, what are the stories your childhood is telling you. And it's funny because today I'm actually going back to therapy. I haven't been in therapy in a while because I always say, like, whenever I stop, it's like I have the resources I need to go on with life. But I have no problem going back when I need some more resources to get me through life. So as y'all know, I've been talking about this new season I've been in and leaving the old season. So I feel like now I need new resources to get me through and to keep me afloat. So that's where I'm at. So I'm so excited to talk to my girl today, later tonight, to just touch base, because I haven't talked to her since like all the new stuff happened. So I'm so geeked about that. And of course, because I am talking about therapy, for those who are interested in therapy or you want to see what the options are that are available for you, a great website is Psychology Today. You're able to put in the type of insurance you have. If you don't have insurance, you're able to put that in. You can also put in like what specific focus or topic you want to talk about. And it will like sort it out, filter it out. And you can look at the bios of the therapy people that you're looking at so that you can say, like, okay, is this a good fit? So for somebody who is not familiar with how therapy works, or you're not familiar or like just don't know how to select the person, one thing I would definitely say is look at their bio, and it should be something that stands out to you. So for me in particular, my therapist had a very affirming one that spoke to me, and her bio was like, this is for the people who look like they have it all together on the outside, but on the inside, they're going through lots of things. And that just spoke to me immediately. As someone who always views herself as like a perfect person, or how other people view me like that, it can be hard coming off as the person that's not strong all the time. So I was really happy to find her. And when I say she's like the mother I really wish I had, she's amazing. And I see myself in her, and I think we have such a great connection because she sees the younger her in me. So it's pretty cool. So like I said, all for therapy, getting it out there. If you need some help, feel free to reach out or go on the website. So for today, our episode, we're going to be talking about this literacy crisis that we are in America. And as you all know, I am a teacher. I am a high school English teacher. I'm a certified high school English teacher. I am an award-winning educator. I am this, I am that. No, seriously though. I really do love education. I'm really passionate about education. And this was always a first choice for me. And I'm coming up on year 5. You could say year 6 if you count my internship year. Because here in Michigan, we have to, well, not just Michigan, in Michigan State, where I graduated from, we have a really rigorous program. And you have to get accepted to the College of Ed, and then you do your classes, but then you have to do a year-long internship while also taking some master courses. So during that time, I worked for free for my internship year. And then after that was when I got my first paid year. So we could say I have like those years of experience, but I've always done something in the field of education. And I'm saying that to say I've seen many things, different places. I've saw people at different times, different perspectives. And one thing I saw, and I've been on a rant about it, comes from this, I want to say it was like a reel that I saw, maybe it was a video. It's a video of this lady, and she thinks she was like a former principal somewhere, and she was saying like, we literally are in a crisis, right? And our kids cannot read or write, and no one is telling you all that. And when she said that, it stuck with me so hard that I'm like, we got to talk about this. Like, this is something that's not being talked about at all. So I am someone who teaches 9th grade. I teach 9th and 10th grade. I teach in a city. And to watch, I'm not sure if it was a middle school thing or if it's an elementary school thing, to watch how many kids do not have the basic foundational skills of just reading. I'm not talking about writing essays. I'm not talking about doing paragraphs. I'm not talking about doing nothing in depth, just your basic skills of reading and writing. There is a crisis. There's a true crisis our kids are in. And I would even go on to say it's specifically a Black and brown crisis. And it's one that I don't even think the pandemic was the almighty cause of it, but the pandemic done some hell of a damage with it. And it's been on my mind because, as y'all know as well, I opened up Accountability Counts Learning Space. So Accountability Counts was just like my tutoring business I did on the side. And I've been doing that for some years. But what it's growing to be is a space that affirms youth academically, emotionally, and mentally. I always tell people it is really hard to teach a child that doesn't like you, and it is very hard to teach a child that is dealing with issues that are outside of you, right? So many times, and I'm sure many teachers or educators can echo this, my student doesn't have a problem with me in the classroom. They have a problem with something else, but I'm just a person that feels their wrath of what they're going through or how they're feeling. And it's so many injustices. It's so many different things that take part in our school systems, especially our public school systems and schools that are in Black and brown field communities, that we just don't always have the resources or the tools and the support to really allow youth in particular to like thrive in the way that they should, or in the spaces that really affirm them. So as I've been on this, and I've been on this for a long time, like going back to like 2013, when I first was just learning about how we make differences in our Black and brown kids, right? How we don't love our Blackness to death. Big shout out to Dr. Lamar Johnson, who I'm gonna always give credit to, of teaching me about critical race English education and helping us to look at how the violence, allowing us to think about the violence that our kids are going through, right? So spiritual violence, physical violence, curricular violence, pedagogical violence. And for those who don't know, it's like this idea of like how education is being taught. So more people are starting to say like, what's the point of us going to school from this amount of time? Kids not knowing the stuff that they need to live, or kids not learning things that they need to go to college for to make money. All that type of stuff is starting to come up more. But being someone that's actually inside that classroom every single day and dealing with our kids that are the future, I can say it's much more than just everybody be entrepreneur and you don't need to go to school to get rich or this, that, and the other. There is not just a lack of literacy. There's a lack of discipline. There's a lack of structure. There's a lack of order. And there are systems, families, places, buildings, schools that just are not honoring our kids the way that they should. And that is the truth that we just not talking about enough, or we don't have enough support to back us up. So I have experience teaching almost every grade from K through 12 in some capacity. I have worked in elementary schools doing reading programs. I taught middle school for a couple years. I'm now in high school. I've taught every grade from 9th to 12th as well, in some form, even if it just was some months or a full year. And what I'm realizing is our kids are not being taught the value of education. And it breaks my heart. It truly, truly, truly breaks my heart. I'm biased because I grew up in a home with a daddy who is an activist. My daddy had me protesting when I was about 5 years old. My daddy read books. We had books. Education wasn't an option. Even entrepreneurship wasn't something he was pushing. My daddy's an entrepreneur. He has not ever worked a 9-to-5. My dad did not graduate high school. I think he may stop at like the 8th or 9th grade, but he was always someone that said, He didn't want to be under the order of people, right? He wanted to teach himself. He was someone that's so smart, so brilliant. Even to this day, he's a man of such magnitude, right? But without a traditional education. And I always joke and I say, the reason why my daddy's not rich and a millionaire is because he had to take care of me and my sister, because he has so much insight that could just change a nation. But I'm saying all of that to still say, he was a man that, although didn't get it himself, he knew the value of education and may even have some regrets of not getting it. So he really pushed it on me and my sister. But I would be untruthful or being unfair to not say I'm also a biased person myself, right? I didn't have problems in school. I was not your child who skipped or things like that, or just was doing everything other than school. I was a schoolgirl. I was the nerd. Everyone knows that. I was still like that when I got my master's degree. So I have always had a value in education just because that's me. I know that's not the norm. That's not everyone's thing. But it's starting to be too many people not having that as a thing. I haven't saw so many kids come to school to just do nothing. Schools have become a place to babysit kids. It has claimed for a place to socialize. For some, it's literally they're just coming there for safety. I gotta respect you. Some coming just for some food, some nourishment, and a consistent space. I get it, 1000%. But also, what's going on inside of these classrooms is these kids not ready for the world. And when I mean not ready for the world, I mean in not having the abilities, the mindset, the mentality, or the will to go out and create and be innovative. And that's the part that has changed us. I don't hear people anymore having these bright and thought-provoking ideas. I don't have people even telling me that they want to go out and be doctors and lawyers, or what society would deem as like a really high-paying job, or a job that gets kudos. They're not doing that no more. And I'm not against even people going out to do different things. We live in a whole new world, even from when I graduated from high school. So I know things are always changing, but something that is just not it no more. It's like that will to go beyond the average, or the will to do more than just what's given to you. We becoming too lazy of a generation. We giving kids too many options. Everybody is trying to chase everything that's fast, that's easy, that's not too stressful, not challenging, not this and not that. There's no way you will succeed above average. There's no way you will be somebody who is the next Bill Gates, or the next Jeff Bezos, the one that on Amazon, or the next this or next that, unless you have these innovative ideas, unless you could be a critical thinker, unless you could be somebody that's thinking outside the box, you challenging the norms, you're going out and doing things that have not been done. I want our kids to get back on that. And I feel like a lot of the reasons why we can't is because we have so many barriers and so many issues that they are facing, that it takes I'm not going to say the unction or the will to want to do it, but it takes your focus off, right? If I know I'm focused on X, Y, and Z at home, I'm dealing with this in my spirit, I'm dealing with this in my mind, to come to school and to perform and be the best is just not the biggest thing, right? But then, okay, what about some of the kids who that's not the issue and they still don't have that inclination to want to strive to that next level? As someone that tutors as well, so not only do I teach kids from 8 to 3:20, I then tutor them from 4 to 8:30. I'm coming across so many children, and I say children like people up to 18, where it's just like our phones, these social medias, these TikToks, these everything that's just dumbing our kids down. Like I don't think I understand. Average is starting to become the new norm, and it's scaring me. It's scaring me. As someone who, I tell people all the time, I'm not just a teacher, and there's nothing wrong with just being a teacher, but I am a very ambitious person. I'm always looking for the next thing. I'm always looking at how can I grow? How can I make more money? How can I make myself more profitable? How can I do the next thing? That's just me. Maybe a trauma response as well, but that's who I am, right? I'm always thinking of how can I grow? Growing is fun to me. Learning is fun to me. I'm thinking about getting another master's degree actually while we talking. But it's like, where is that at anymore? I mean, like, for real, where are these stars at? Where are these new kids at? Even when I was thinking about the new requirements to get inside of programs, we are preparing our kids not for longevity. We're preparing them for right now. And that's my issue that I really legit got. right? We prepare our kids for right now, and I don't think families are really understanding the damage of it. And I was talking to a parent because I've had a lot of interesting parent encounters this year that I'm not too happy about. I'm actually a little upset with these parents. And I'm really getting concerned about how kids are 15, 14, maybe even 9, 10, whatever age they are. And we have parents not knowing that their kids can't read. That's a legit problem for me. Like a real deal one. I want to come to your house. I want to come to the place where y'all eat dinner at, and I want us to have a real talk conversation. How do you as a parent not know your child cannot read? I want to know that. I want you to walk me through your day of what you do at home, what y'all do to prepare for school every day. Because you will be so surprised at how many parents do not know their kids can't read. You would be surprised at how many kids have students and have children with disabilities and are just overlooking them because they too scared to get their kids tested, or they're too afraid to speak up, or they want to hide things because they're embarrassed. Y'all just don't understand. I'm telling you, legit don't understand. And as someone who, I don't believe in conspiracy theorists, I'm not someone that's, oh, our black kids are taken away, and I'm not that girl. So to really see kids need help and not get services that they're supposed to get, have families not help them, have families not advocate for them and do the work that they're supposed to do, it's disheartening. And it's making the work we do as educators really go in vain. And I'm scared for the world that is going to be created with these kids, because a lot of people, y'all not connected. Unless you have a kid or you're in an education system, you are not connected to the reality of our next generation, because you don't have a buy-in in it, right? You really don't have a reason. If you are, like, for example, and this is no shade, this is the first thing that came to my mind. If you are working in a cubicle, right? All you know is your cubicle and what you're doing inside that space. And when you leave there, you go home. You don't really have a buy-in to the youth, right? You don't have a reason to know, because it's not your business. That's not your lane. So it's just like, unless you're somebody who's like dealing with them on a day-to-day, or you have some type of buy-in and some type of capacity, or just even if you're a parent, you're seeing it, you will get what I'm saying. So to be an educator, to be a young educator, and to know I'm not that far removed from being in their spaces, so much has changed. When I graduated from Cass Tech and I was preparing for college, and I was so excited to go to school and so excited for my next steps, that's not the world we live in no more. Like, it's really, really, really getting scary out here. And I think kids are noticing it too. The more and more I'm starting to hear, I mean, like, what's the point of me going? Or I can just get this, or I really don't need a job like this to get it, or stuff like that. It's like, what are the stories our kids are being told? And I'm someone that, I'm not against the entrepreneurial world. I'm not against anything that's new, right? Content creators, your fashion people, your marketing people, everything that I look at as like freelance type of work, I'm not against it. I know that's the new age we're in. It's not my lane, but it does seem to be profitable and people are getting rich off of it, which is totally cool. But we're not telling the stories of how that's a dime a dozen, or we're not telling the stories of what these people have to do to get there, or we're not telling the stories of everything is not easy and you can't just get rich overnight because somebody sold you that dream on Instagram. I want us to get away from that part, because what we doing is we selling these kids fantasies that are not equating to real world scenarios that will help them take care of themselves. We're not talking about retirement. We're not talking about when you not cute no more and your sex not selling. Or we're not talking about when you're not the it girl because it's a new girl that turned 18 and 21 every single day. We not have no type of conversations. And as much as I love the freedom the new generation has and how they do what they want to do and not what they have to do, I want us to challenge ourselves too and still tell these conversations of perseverance, resilience, rigor, criticality that's needed in this world. We have enough easy things. We have enough things that are going to fall around. You would just be this, you would just be that. I need people that want to go to the next step. I want people to know that they can do it themselves and that it's not that out of reach. I want us to stop making average normal. That's what I want from this. So when I was thinking about this, and I was thinking about the video that the lady was sharing, how she was talking about our kids are not getting a quality education and our kids are not getting really what they need to succeed, I really want to break down like the education classroom, or to break down the education system. So me being in my classroom, this is my day to day. Okay. I teach on the east side of Detroit, right? I teach in an area where we have the lowest per pupil funditure. So for those who don't know, that's like for each kid that's inside of a school, there's a certain amount that a school gets per child. And if they have disabilities, they're able to get more money from them because they have more needs that need to be met, but then their needs are also not being met with that money. Keep that in mind. But it gets the money to the school, right? So all of that money and maybe some more money that I don't know about that pays the teachers. We get textbooks, we get to have different help like counselors, assistant teachers in some classrooms. For students who are who have special needs, they could be like in a resource room. We can pay those who do deal with kids with special needs, they can get bonuses because it's a high need job, things like that. And to walk you through my day, I have about 5 classes. And maybe like in one class I had like 32 kids. In one class I may have like 10 because that's my honors class. I teach all Black kids. This majority of the kids are all coming from the neighborhood middle schools in the area. So there is there's about a good 3 to 5 schools that are like right in the area. But the area where I teach at is really not that great of an area in terms of what's going on. So it's not like your thriving area per se that some would say. So a lot of the schools I've noticed, like there's a lot of behavior issues. A lot of the kids are the kids that got 2 points and 1 point coming to the school, right? Because I teach at a neighborhood school. Although it's application, quote unquote, that's not what's the majority at the school. And being there, and I'm in a classroom, right, and I got kids on varying levels, right? Although maybe some have an IEP, which is an individualized education plan. They have it on paper, which says that these are the resources and accommodations that they're supposed to get. That's still not being honored. So I may have like maybe 5 kids like that in the classroom, or like 5 to like 8 usually on average, right? Okay, so they're at a different level in their needs. Okay, cool. But then you have other kids in the classroom who also have, I feel like every class I have at least about 3 or 4 kids who that also need some different support, but they just don't have it on file. So it's like, okay, in the school world, if it's not documented and if you don't have that support to have it, technically by law, you don't have to do it, right? I'm going to still do it if I see you got a problem because I'm going to help you, but I'm painting a picture here. So that's about 10, 13, 15 kids, right? That's half the kids, right? With different abilities where I'm trying to adapt to and make sure we're all getting it, right? But this curriculum that I'm mandated to teach per se, DPS is more loose with it, so I have some wiggle room, is at a level of a 9th grade level. But if 60% of the class is not on a 9th grade or even an 8th grade level, right? There's a disconnect. I had it today. I had a kid that was turning their makeup work because it's the last week of school, thank God. And I'm still saying, can you write me a paragraph? And the paragraph is 4 to 5 sentences. I'm not even on the grammar of it. I'm not on the spelling of it. I'm not even on what it says. Can you just give me 4 to 5 sentences? And that's like pulling teeth. That's pulling teeth. And if I pulled up a curriculum for y'all, all my listeners to look at, like what you should be doing in the 9th grade, 8th grade, or for any grade level, and you compare it and you had these kids sit down and be assessed on all of this, literally, I think almost all my children would fail because they not on grade level. They not on grade level. They don't have the basic skills. I had a kid, no lie, I promise to God, he in the 11th grade right now, and he is on a 3rd grade reading level. 3rd grade. How did you get from 3rd grade to the 11th grade reading at a 3rd grade reading level? Our schools are in crisis. Our schools are in a crisis. Our children are metaphorically dying by being in these schools. And no one is really talking about it. We talk about how the teachers getting paid more, which I'm definitely not against, but I'm just saying this is the stuff that's the clickbait. A teacher got beat up at the school. This another layoff, they on strike. But let's talk about what's really going on in the education system. it's a problem. And to be honest, it's even got me thinking, like, is school really made for the people who just can do it, right? What about the people who don't? What about the people who need the support? Because remember, I mentioned I got about 15 kids that may have some special needs, but where is their support at? Where is somebody that could take on that load of dealing with that many kids? Because remember, that's 15 for my 2 classes, or my 15 to 20 out of my kids, but every single teacher got at least one student with an IEP, or at least almost, right? Where is that support at? How are people advocating for their children? How are kids advocating for themselves without wanting to be singled out? It's so many things and so many factors that go into place when we think about why grades are the way they are, why our kids are learning and not progressing at the rate that they should be, why when it's time for us to compete against the white school districts, we're so below, and why we don't have these resources and the things that put us at the top or make us more competitive, is because I don't think we are really teaching our youth how we need to be learned. And that's always been a big issue and a big topic that people have been grappling with. It's like, are we really preparing our Black and brown kids for success? Are we teaching us the way we need to be learned, right? Are we really telling our stories? Are we affirming our experiences? Are we allowing youth to practice criticality, or is it all about rote memorization? Or is it all about just trying to get them to just get in and sit still in class and go to the next class and keep going, but not ever being challenged? And I noticed that from me tutoring, right? Like I say, I tutor every day, Monday through Friday, and working with my kids and just seeing how the parents like, and I don't know why in school that they're just not getting it. And it's like they come to you and they really understand it. And I feel like their confidence is being up. And that's something I've noticed a trend with all my students and families I work with. It's like their confidence is being heightened and they want to do it. And that made me think, like, what am I doing that's not happening inside of the classroom? And or maybe even at home. Let's think about it. Parents could do it as well, right? The parents are the first teachers. I'm starting to realize that it's a care thing. It's a care thing. It's an effort thing. It's an intentionality thing. If I'm a mom and I'm working from 8 to 5, I'm tired, I'm stressed out, I'm trying to make my ends meet. I may even got some more kids too. That may not necessarily be my top priority. If I know that they've been at school from 8 to 3:20, I look at that as the teacher's job. And for a long time, we've always said it's the teacher's job, it's the teacher's job. But what I'm here to tell y'all in 2024, and as a teacher, that teacher has so much on their plate these days that the real load of actually teaching, educating, inspiring, challenging, and loving kids is becoming slimmer, and slimmer. And all the issues of the school system is becoming larger, and larger. And that is changing our trajectory inside our school systems for our kids. And it's not doing us any justice, to just tell the truth. And for a long time, I was like, I don't know about charter schools. I'm against charter schools. I'm against these schools. I'm against private schools, because I'm one of those type of people that believes in equity over equality. Because just because something is equal doesn't mean that it's fair. And it doesn't mean that you're getting the help that you really need. So I'm a bit different when it comes to that. But what I do and what I really challenge us to fight for, even at the younger levels or kids that are just now starting to start school, is to like really be intentional on the learning that you are giving your child and the experiences, right? Put these iPads down. Make some time. The same way how we make time to get our hair done, we make time to go to the bar, you make time to date, you make time to do everything else. Make time to pour into that child, because the school is just not doing it the way you think that they are. And I'm not saying this to say all schools, because I haven't been to all schools, but being a product of Detroit Public Schools, working for Detroit Public Schools, knowing kids in Detroit Public Schools, and knowing the spaces that we are in is crazy out here. The classes are overpopulated. Teachers are overworked and underpaid. You work in 2 or 3 jobs. You're just trying to survive. So focusing on growth or focusing on academic anything outside of that time period can be slim when we have so much on our shoulders. So I will even go as far to say not only do we have just a literacy crisis, we have a survival crisis. We have a lot of people not being able to pour into the things that really matter because we're trying to survive. And it's really, really, really impacting our youth in so many ways than one. And even as somebody who has accountability counselor, my learning space, I think about it like that. Even that's a space for people who are privileged. It's a privilege to be able to pay somebody every week to be able to work with your child. It's a privilege to have extra money, you know what I'm saying, when you're trying to do X, Y, and Z, and to be able to do it. Everybody can afford that, right? Everybody can afford it. And I can't do it for free because I can't afford to just have one job, right? Or I can't live the life that I want to live. So it's like everybody is feeling the aftermath of something at some point. And it's crazy because it's like at the end of the day, we always had working families. We always had this. We always had those at the bottom of the totem pole and those at the higher. But it's like it's becoming a widening and widening gap of the haves and the have-nots. And our Black and brown kids in these public schools and in these urban school districts are getting the worst end of it. I mean, for real, for real. Like, and I had to even be real and think about it like this, right? We had 2 years. Everybody say money. We only get it when there's money involved. We had 2 years of the government giving all of us free money. We're almost everybody, unless you were rich, right? Or made over a certain amount. They gave us free money, the most money some people ever had in their life. And you did not take that time to pour into your child. But you knew every social media this. You knew every dance. You knew when that unemployment dropped. You knew when to certify. You knew everything else. But you allowed 2 years to go by and you did not pour into your child. You did not know they had deficits and voids that needed to be filled. So I can't even go on and say, oh, just because people are busy. A lot of times people do not care. And that's my message. That's the real truth that I want to say. I'm coming across too many families, too many schools, too many administrators, too many teachers, and even students that just do not care. Until we make the future, the things that we cannot see, the next level, innovativeness, criticality, and creativity to focus, we will always be behind in life. And literacy is just the start. If you cannot read, you can't eat. That's how I look at it. If you cannot read, you can't eat. You know, people be like, oh, if you can't read, you can't write. If you can't read, you can't eat. You can't survive. That's serious. So I just really wanted to talk about this and let y'all know and even just share it just to get people to think about it. Because like I say, if you don't have a child that has issues in school, or if you don't have some type of buy-in to our youth or to the education system, you don't know about these things that are going on. And it's like we need to be aware and pay attention because this is our future. Like we have to watch how we are pouring into our youth and what's going on because it is a crisis that is affecting Black and brown kids. And as a person in Detroit, it's affecting us right here. I'm seeing too many kids just being passed along because of No Child Left Behind. I'm seeing too many kids just get the bare minimum, and it's like enough is enough. So it's like as an educator, that's my ode and my promise I'm making, right? I even want to do more to have more spaces where learning is able to happen in different ways. And I'm going to spend my summer when I'm not working, because I'm working my other job, to just really find new innovative ways to help with learning. And I want kids to like tap into their own genius. Like that's really where I'm at with it. Like I want you to learn different ways of learning that works for you. So that's my thing. So this is more so one of like an informational podcast. Like just like these are the things that are happening and that I've been wanting to talk about. And if you are interested in this episode or this topic, feel free to hit me up. And just let me know, like, what are y'all seeing in y'all worlds? Or like, are y'all seeing these different things? Are y'all seeing a lack of like intentionality or care? Or are you wondering, like, what can we do, right? I always say when you have more opportunities, you have more resources, you have a better outcome. You take away our opportunity, we take away our resources, we get a lot of trouble and we get a lot of spaces and places that our kids don't need to be in. So as the summer is coming up and as I have people listening, practice these kids with some reading, some writing. Take some time out for your kid, bro. If you didn't want to be a parent, you didn't want to do what you're supposed to do mentally, physically, financially, spiritually, academically, you shouldn't have one, right? But now that they're here, we have to pour into our kids more. The same way we pour into ourselves, pour into the people that are in front of you. They are your obligation and they are your responsibility until the day God takes breath out of your body. And if you're not a parent like but you're still around in the world, you still know what's going on, help somebody else. Y'all know, just like I tell my kid, you have a responsibility in this world. So figure out what you're going to be responsible for fast. So that was like my vents, but also one that was like really timely because school is ending. For me, it'll be ending the Friday, you know what I'm saying, when this comes out. So I just want to really share that. That's like my ode to the world, my ode to Detroit Public Schools, my ode to educators, and just hopefully something in that, you know, picks up or it resonates with you all as we are preparing for our summer. But everything is not about work. Everything is not about trying to fix stuff, although we need to fix a lot of things. I do want to just say thank you to all the educators worldwide that are listening. Thank you for people that are doing work in the world, right? We have a very thankless profession. Thank you for the people who are doing it out of their heart, right? This is heart work, not wealth work. So just thank you. Thank you for everybody that has a buy-in or investment in kids and youth and people, period. We need you. And I just want to say thank you for everything. And I am so looking forward to my summer vacation, but I start my next job that I'm happy about because I'm actually going to be working with teachers that are about to be teachers. So your girl is moving up. But I want to say thank you to everybody and thankful, y'all, that we are at the half point of this season. So I want to say thank you, everybody. And until next time, bye.